going on, you guys? So, Shawn Porter addresses Derrick James on his recent comments about him and his father and this power struggle, things of that nature, right? The things that Derrick James recently came out and said about Showtime Shawn Porter and his father. He also tells him, do not underestimate Terrence Crawford. Hit that like button for your boy. Give me that HBO special. That's the Help a Brother Out special. We're on the road to 15,000 subscribers. Now, Showtime Shawn Porter addresses Derrick James. Wow, right? See? And I had a lot of people in my comment section coming out saying, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. Get your facts straight. These Errol Spence fans is just, y'all do something else, bro. But like I said before, Derrick James was out of pocket. It seems like Terrence Crawford brings out the worst in this guy to the point where he's talking about the personal relations between Shawn Porter and his father. Like, bro, that's really nothing for you to really be speaking about publicly. But Shawn Porter addressed this, right? And sorry if I sound kind of funny. I'm under the weather right now. Not really feeling good, but the show must go on. Shawn Porter addresses it, and check it out.
Outside of that, you talk to your dad at all, Shawn?
Yeah, it's funny. I know, Carson, you were bothered by kind of the things that were said by Derrick James.
Yeah.
I think, was that right after his fight after Spence's fight with Ugas?
Yeah, and you can of course check out the interview, FightHype.com. Zytel was asking questions.
Maybe I shouldn't have.
And I did a video posting a video on this of him and his father. Shawn Porter said that him and his father was at the movies or whatever. He said it was last Thursday. He got to get the movie review out. And people telling me that this picture was taken last year.
Yeah, he started all this.
My main issue with it is there's a point where you can be opinionated, where you can speculate certain things, but what he said it was just a lie. It just wasn't true. So to say that it
very
just wasn't
sure
true.
of himself.
Yeah,
and he seemed very sure of himself, and because I knew we were gonna talk about this a little bit before we got out of here, and I said, you know what, I respect Derrick James. I like him as a coach.
As do I.
We've had him on the show, and I really liked everything that came out of his mouth when he was on the show. And even though we didn't grow up in the amateurs together, and I'd only come across him a few times in the pro ranks, I really just appreciate him, and of course specifically what he's done for Errol, but what he's done for all of the fighters that he has.
Yeah.
And I was like,
now let's not get it twisted. Derrick James is a great coach. When he gets these guys, you see improvements in these guys' power and everything else, right? Kamaru Usman is an example. His boxing skills, he started training with Derrick James, and you see what he's been doing, right? So yeah.
How do I address this without making him feel disrespect or anything like that? And so I said, you know what, the best thing to do is to not talk about this and directly talk to Derrick James. And so this is just kind of what I figured out, is that something that we all know. Some things, if it doesn't come straight from the horse's mouth, then you should not repeat what's been said.
Right. So if he didn't say this, if Kenny didn't say this, what made Derrick James say this? Like I said before, it seems like Terrence Crawford, whenever Crawford's name is brought up, it brings out the worst in Derrick James. That's just what it seems like. His whole demeanor changes and everything.
And whether it's something that's been repeated to Derrick James or something that he sees or has felt for himself, I personally have not talked to Derrick James, and I'm pretty sure my dad has not been in Dallas. How do I know? Because I saw my dad the other day, and he says that he's been in the Dominican Republic, he's been in DC, he's been in Florida, he's been a little bit everywhere, and has not been in Dallas. And so, in respect to Derrick James, if you have not seen or heard something for yourself, then it's probably best to not say anything at all.
So basically, there you go, man. Shawn Porter pretty much tells you straight up, like, look, dude, it's not true. And then he's gonna further elaborate on the meetings they had. I mean, they was together on Thanksgiving. I mean, like, it was a total lie from Derrick James, based off what Shawn Porter's gonna say.
My dad and I, the decision that I made to retire on fight night was not because my dad stepped up on the apron and stopped the fight. My dad did not know that I was going to retire that night, but we had conversations. My dad knew where I was in my boxing career. And so while it was not a surprise to my dad that I retired based on conversations that we had, it was somewhat a surprise because we didn't have a conversation. Hey, Dad, after this fight, I'm retiring.
So basically, it seemed like Derrick James just insinuating some things, right? He just can't believe that Terrence Crawford stopped Shawn Porter and Errol Spence went tooth and nail with Shawn Porter. They just can't believe it. They simply just can't believe it. But I think at this point, you better believe it because it happened, right? It happened.
I think that it was a surprise to my dad, just like it was to everyone else in the world. We have spoken since that fight. We have spoken about the fight. We have not spent much time speaking about the fight. I don't intend to get back in the ring. So I still have not watched the fight. I haven't asked my dad if he's watched the fight, but
it was really good.
If we aren't intending to fight anymore.
It was a really good fight. You know what I'm saying? It was really technical. It was a chess match. You know what I'm saying? It was a lot of it was a lot of strategy going on, but it was a lot of it was a weird fight. You know what I'm saying? Like it was a weird fight. It was a weird fight, but it was a really good fight. It was a thriller. Like we didn't know what was gonna happen. You know, people had a feeling that Crawford was losing the fight, and then we saw what happened once he caught wind that he could possibly have been losing the fight.
I don't know if that fight's worth us talking to one another about. You know what I mean? So what I prefer to do is go over to my dad's house like I did the other night, sit down at the dining room table and talk to my dad for about an hour or so. A couple days later, we're going to the movies. I'm getting the family together. I got cousins going. I got nephews going. So, yo.
See? I mean, and then he's going to elaborate on the situation and, you know, him being with his family, hanging out with his dad. I mean, their relationship is good, okay? I'm not going to play too much more of that part. But he said their relationship is good. He said they had their great moments. They had their bad moments. They father and son, man, stay out of their business, man. You know what I'm saying? When it's personal like that, you know what I'm saying? Let these dudes handle it. You know what I'm saying? Some people don't even got a father. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, you know, let them men handle that. Derrick James was really out of pocket, bottom line, okay? Out of line. He was way out of line with that. So much out of line that Shawn Porter, a guy like Shawn Porter, has to come out and actually address this. You know what I'm saying? All right, let me see the part now when he talks about don't underestimate Terrence Crawford. Like, they seem to be underestimating Terrence Crawford. We've seen a video earlier where Derrick James said his athleticism will fail him, like Roy Jones did. And so that means that I'm not going to say what I think, but I'm assuming a lot of fans are going to be thinking like, y'all tried to wait this dude out then. If that's what you was banking on, his athleticism declining. So he won't be as ferocious as he was when he was, you know what I'm saying? So that's what a lot of people are going to be saying.
From my dad, then you should probably leave your assumptions to yourself and all of those things. I've had other people, you know, just speaking again, generally, I've had other people say, you know, hey, your dad's been hard on you, and you know, he never let you live your own life, and the list goes on.
Now, that has to be annoying, right? That has to be pretty annoying, somebody telling you, come on, man. Like, I never got that. I never understood that, how people could, you know.
And I'll answer to those people like, yeah, well, you know, I don't think I made every decision I wanted to make that he would have wanted me to make, but I made decisions for myself. I lived the life that I want to live, and he's very much so in my life. If I was unhappy with anything that he had done or anything like that, he wouldn't be in my life. You know what I mean? So
see, he just nailed it down. I'm glad Shawn Porter came out and addressed this, because you got a lot of people that really ran with this and believed that it was true. And we all about the truth over here on Bushido Boxing. Like I said, sometimes I can get it wrong, and I would like you guys to correct me, but with the facts, right? Don't just tell me what you know, can't give me the facts. But I had a lot of people in the comment section really saying Derrick James knows what's going on.
Dad is still in my life. We still kick it, and I expect to see my dad Monday. So it is what it is.
Yeah. It's still crazy how hungry your dad is.
Just as a coach, other managers, trainers, fighters will learn this as well. Not everything that's on paper is what it is in the boxing ring. And when you will look at a guy and it says that guy's had 18 fights and he's only had 3 knockouts. When you get in the ring, you'll find out that guy's got a little bit more strength.
He's talking about in reference to Terrence Crawford now.
And power and will to win than that those numbers would lead you to believe. What leads you? Would indicate. Saying all that to say, I do believe that Terrence Crawford has more power than other people might think that he has. He's definitely more hungry than a lot of people understand him to be. And I don't think that either one of those guys are going to think that this is going to be easy night. But if Derrick James thinks that it's going to be easy night based on what he sees on paper or what he's seen in boxing matches, get prepared for the best, as they usually do. I don't think that Derrick James prepares for any less, but don't assume that anything less is coming to you. If you think that that Terrence Crawford isn't as strong as me or isn't as fast or sharp or anything like that, prepare for Terrence Crawford like you prepared for Shawn Porter.
And Shawn.
Yep. So in other words, don't underestimate Terrence Crawford. Answer, man, your damn bit. He seemed to be out here underestimating him. He's basically. Let me just wrap this up, folks. He seemed to be underestimating Terrence Crawford. Whenever Terrence Crawford gets brought up, it seemed like it brings out the worst in Derrick James. Regardless of what anybody says, that's what it seems like. That's what it looks like. We know Derrick James is a mild-mannered guy who really says nothing bad about anybody, but when it got so bad that he had to downplay the victory of Crawford because he kind of outshined Errol Spence, not once but twice. Kell Brook and Shawn Porter, he kind of outdid him. He stopped both guys. Errol Spence stopped Kell Brook and then later in the fight, but Terrence Crawford stopped both guys. Right? They didn't make it to the finish line in the fight. So yeah, he's downplaying that and it just seems like he's just trying to downplay it any way he can. Just to kind of make Errol Spence win. It's just ridiculous. But it got so bad to the point where he started talking about Kenny and Shawn Porter's relationship. And yeah, man, I think he was out of pocket. But Shawn Porter addressed it. Like, subscribe, holla at your boy. Peace out.